What up, what up, what up? Welcome back, everybody. Sports Talk 49, live and always exclusively right here on NSPN. I'm your host, Blake Anthony, and this is Sports Talk 49. Yes, I'm solo today. I went to an old screen I haven't used in a while because I'm always having somebody else on chit-chatting with me and talking live sports, talking about NBA, NFL, everything pretty much. We just talk about everything under the sun with my I don't even call him my host. We just call it both hosts. Caleb better not always coming on here, um, giving his perspective from playing in the league for 8 years, eight plus years in the league, and I always value Caleb's input on everything, whether it's NBA, Patrick Mahomes, or whatever we want to talk about that day, because we talk about various stuff, especially off air. Caleb is so much fun debating topics and things like that. So, but today I don't have to hear Caleb's mouth. I'm gonna talk about just these things. I just wanted to get out. First and foremost, I want to talk about Jalen Carter, defensive tackle out of Georgia. So it's back in the incident, I believe, in January. Where it's a car accident or a former teammate died or something like that. And Jalen ended up lying about where he was at. So he had an arrest warrant to come in, and I'm assuming give the real statement of what happened, because I guess it was proved he wasn't where he said he was or whatnot or whatever. But being that as it may, that's how a cookie crumbles. Eventually, it's gonna come out when all the facts come out, and there people are gonna figure out where you were and stuff like that, and they're gonna find out all the core facts to everything and figure out what happened to this young man. But I just wanted to say about it. I'm like, not about the case, because I really don't have much insight than what's already given that you could find off Google anytime you want to. I just want to say that these guys are young men, and like I said, I tend to always want to side with the players a little bit, just a tad. It's just because they're young men. So everybody's like, oh, wow, let's just stay in the house. I'm like, you're not going to tell a 22, 21-year-old to just stay in the house and do nothing with his life. It's not going to happen. You did all that years of in the mud, growing up in the ghetto, or maybe they're not. Maybe the family had money. Regardless of what the situation was, you're not going to get them to keep and stay in the house. It's not going to happen. So these guys are going to go out and they're going to have fun. Do you think that they really go out? The plan is to go out and have somebody die, get a DUI crash, or whatever it is that if you really think that's what the plan is when they go out, then you're just sadly mistaken and ill-informed on how life works. These young they're young college kids. They're going out having fun. They're winning national titles. They're winning games. They're having moments with each other, and sometimes crazy things happen because, and I just speak from experience, that people go out just to have a good time, and then trouble finds them. And then the way the media portrays it is if they're just out effing around and screwing up and causing problems, when it's not the case. They went out and were chilling somewhere, having drinks, having a good time, and somebody didn't like one of the way one of them looked at her, didn't like Georgia or whatever it was, and then an argument sparks and a fight happens. A lot of situations happen that way, and they're just out minding their own business, and stuff happens. But in this case, I guess the parameters or the facts of what happened will come out later, because they had to bring in Jalen. I guess it gets some further investigation because his story did not add up, and for good reason. He didn't want his name put out coming into the draft, coming up to the draft and potentially making an amount of money. You've seen guys like Larry Tunsil, weed mask photo come up and to kind of knock his draft status down, knocked him out of the top 10 or the top 5 or whatever it was. Will this hurt Jalen? I don't know. Tampa Bay Buccaneers sit at 19. Will it fall down to 19? What up, Jet? You go work on making them ads for them barbecue. Jeff, what up, little tank? These are young men, and they're going out having a good time. Is like I said, and I'm a black male, and it happens. You go out Your plan isn't to bother anybody. You're just out with friends, and there's just bad people in the world that want to ruin what you're doing when you're going out, and that's young or old. If they're an adults in the league, or they're um or kids in college. It's just There's just bad people that want to do things, and then you go, oh wow, they should just stay home. Wow, wow, wow. It's not. You're not gonna live your life like that. You're not gonna live your life. They're 20 years old, 20, 22, 23, 24. They're not 40. They're not you. They're not living their life and their dreams in a strip club. That's your life. That's not their life. Um, and they're still kids. Like, everybody thinks this parameter of that you just get handed a bunch of money and then you're just supposed to just sit in your house. It's the exact opposite. You should go out and enjoy your life, but you got to be safe with it. And hopefully Jalen doesn't have more involvement than that's going to put himself in jail. Just otherwise he made a dumb decision or whatever it was that they did that went out. Like I said, I don't know the whole details of everything that happened, but hopefully it works out for the young man. It's probably going to hurt his draft stock a little bit, but he can just use this as a redemption. Uh, there's always setbacks. Setbacks are always setups for comebacks, man. They bounce back and prove everything wrong. You're going to have the stigma over your head for a while you're young. Everything you do, every time you go out, somebody's going to record and try to make you seem like you're this person that you're not. And unfortunate, that's the way people work. That's the way this world works. And that's definitely not what I wanted to do when I created this media platform so many years ago. I was just reading a tweet from 2016. Whew, it's come a long way. And my plan has worked. So I don't want to be those guys. Clicks, likes, follows, and sell your soul to ruin somebody else's life. Hopefully one day I'll get to talk to Jalen, and he'll have a successful career down the road, whatever team that is on. But like I said, you just can't put the stigma of 40 plus 50-year-old man on a 22-year-old. The mindset is not the same. You were not thinking the same way he was when they were that age. Let's keep it 100. But you got to be safe with it. And like I said, hopefully this is a learning curve for him. Whatever happens in the situation, and you just bounce back from it and you learn from it. And everybody's going to make mistakes. They're young men. They are not perfect. Athletes shouldn't be your role models. I've always said that. They're athletes. They're subject to it's a high emotion game. Now with brain trauma and things like that, yeah, people want to play the position like them, but when people say they actually want to be like them, they don't want to be like them. They want to be like the guy that they see on television that's playing on Sunday. Because if you want to be like them, you don't want to grow up in the same ways that they grow up. You want all the benefits without the work. That's what you really want. But that was it. That's just my rant on Jalen Carter. Now, roster moves and NFL team grades. I don't think I'm going to go high into the team grade category. I would let Caleb and the boys talk about that since they played for the team that got pretty shitty grade. But the roster cuts. Donovan Smith. Today released Cam Brate. Leonard Fournette. And Leonard Fournette asked to be released. The Bucs will grant it. Rightfully so. He said he played hurt with a foot or apparent leg injury, which hindered him a little bit. Donovan Smith, same thing. Elbow injury he sustained against the Cowboys. Never really bounced back clearly from that. Cam Brate. Let's just be honest. I've got no personal beef with Cam Brate, so whatever I say, it's not personal. It's seriously what happened. Ever since Jameis Winston left, he hasn't done shit. Been hurt. Married that girl that worked with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Got COVID and stayed off and on injured. That's it. That's pretty much what's happened after the Jameis Winston era. Jameis Winston got him paid. Jameis Winston's no longer on the roster. Jameis Winston got a lot of people paid because he threw the ball to him, and Cam Brate was his guy. Cam Brate, all the biggest highlights of Cam Brate will be with Jameis Winston throwing to him. I can guarantee you that. But you're going to save cap space somewhere roughly around $20 million. You're going to get there. I propose they even try to trade Shaq Mason. Draft collateral. defensive lineman piece. You have the young offensive lineman to plug in there in places and draft and potentially draft more. If you're trying to save cap, save cap. Play these young guys. See what you got. See what you don't got. They got to play eventually. You got to see what they got, man. I like Shaq Mason, but if you're talking about saving cap and saving some of the veterans that belong on this team, like Levante David, we'll get into that at a later time, but that's not today. You're going to have to make certain moves. Somebody will pay for a veteran, good offensive lineman. Somebody will pay for it. Somebody will pay for it. Trust me, somebody will pay for it. And that's what I think, in that opinion. You got to bring back a guy like Levante David. You got to find some veterans to plug in on this defensive front, because if you and sign Jamel Dean, you're going to have to fix your front. If you don't fix that front, man, anything you do with the secondary is not going to make a damn difference. You have to get after the quarterback. You have to get after the quarterback. You have to protect the quarterback. Those are the two things that got to happen for you to do anything else. Leonard Fournette, 24th in the league in rushing when they won the Super Bowl. You think he had a real big year? He really didn't. He had a good playoff run. Then he came out with all those expectations the next 2 years and really didn't do too much. So, be that as it may, Rashad White's the guy. Everybody's so big on Bijan Robinson. You'll probably go to the second round. Backs just don't go that high anymore. And you can find running backs anywhere. This is proven a commodity. Everywhere you can find running backs. Just give them an opportunity. You have a guy on the roster already that's shown every time to be and perform every time he's gotten to play, Keyshawn Vaughn. And you have now Rashad White. Why do you need another back in the first round? You have backs on the roster right now. Use them. See what you got. Cade Otton coming to his second year. Use them. Hainsey, use them. Gadecki, use them. Talking about moving Tristan Wirfs from the left to the right. Who knows? You have all pro right. You have a whole pro tackle at the right side. Why change it? If it ain't broke, don't fix it. Are you not entertained? Are you not entertained? You know what I mean?
Are you not entertained? Are you not entertained?
All pro. Probably going to be for a very long time. There's no telling what he might do at the left tackle. Go for sugar to shit? Could be. You don't know. But I'll tell you for sure, his game is next level on that right side.
My game is next level.
But there's a couple free agents. There's a couple free agents coming up. I'll post that. I'll post it on my social media of who those guys are, and I'll talk about it at a later time. I would take risk on guys that come on off injury that aren't going to demand a high salary. I would bring back Akeem Hicks. I would bring back that guy, put him another injury-based contract. And I would do that with other guys who've had injury problems like Marcus Davenport from the Saints. Never really could get off, kept getting injured. Won't demand a high salary, put him on a 1-year prove-it deal. See what he does, see what you want to do with him in the future, or move on from him or draft another guy. Just keep plugging and playing guys and keep drafting guys to replace these guys. That's pretty much what you got to do. You got Logan coming into his second year. Then you got Joe Tryon Shainka coming into his third season. So, you got a lot of young guys that are going to have a lot to prove coming in these next year. And rightfully so. It's their chance. It's their time to earn it. I can't think of his name right now. I think his first name is Cam. Got injured. Not Cameron Lynch. They got injured at the beginning of the year. He was looking forward to getting a lot of PT that season, but got hurt in the preseason. It was just a lot of injury-plagued year. But it's going to be interesting with these roster moves, and there's going to be another one coming up pretty soon. Not essentially a roster move, but something that should happen and will happen. I won't get into that, but it'll happen. We're just waiting on the time frame of when that individual decides to release the information. NFL team grades. I won't really want to talk with Caleb about that because he talked about the food situation where he said horse meat or some garbage, and I think they got an F for food and they got a D for family treatment. Doesn't surprise me. So I try to educate you on these guys running this team aren't who you think they are. They aren't who you think they are. They are who they thought we were, or they are who they thought they ain't. I don't know. That's why I like talking to these players. There's a lot of stories with that. Like I said, I'm trying to get Mike James on here and a couple other guys, Javion Elliott, and a lot of these guys that played on the team who could tell you about this team and those NFL Player Association grades. What else? There was another point I wanted to make. The food and then the treatment of the families. I think he said they fed him horse meat or something like that, and it was so terrible. Some people got sick. I don't know. Like I said, Caleb would have to talk more about that because I can't answer that. I haven't eaten their food. I don't know what their facilities are like. I know their training facility is pretty top notch. So that's a big shout out to the training department. And I know their health division ain't as bad as the Commanders with Trent Williams nearly dying with that happening, and Alex Smith and everything there, their training facility. Their medical facility. Ugh. I don't think Tampa's has been that bad besides the whole MRSA situation. And MRSA is just a beast in itself. Never knew about that until I heard about it when I was living in PA. But those are the things pretty much what I got right now. I want to get on here solo and just talk about those quick topics. Not want to be on here too long, as I know the average attention span ain't too long. So I just want to jump out of here, go live on IG, go live on social media, and talk about these things real quick as, news comes and we talk about the draft, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. I'm Will Ennis, as we always do. You're the master of everything. What you do with your life, what you do with it is entirely up to you. Thank you guys. God bless. And as always, fire those cannons.